Welcome to our exploration of complexity rising from human beings to human civilization. Today we'll examine how complex systems theory helps us understand the evolution of human society and organizations. Let's begin by understanding what complexity actually means in systems theory. Complexity refers to the number of independent behaviors that a system can exhibit. The complexity profile is a mathematical tool that describes the relationship between the scale of observation and the complexity visible at that scale. When we observe systems with many parts, we find three fundamental types of collective behavior. First, random behavior, where parts act independently of each other. Second, coherent behavior, where all parts act in unison. And third, complex behavior, where different subgroups act in coordinated but different ways. These patterns appear across physical, biological, and social systems. In social systems, a crowd with people moving randomly exhibits simple collective behavior. An ancient army with soldiers all doing the same action shows coherent, simple collective behavior. And a corporation with specialized, coordinated roles demonstrates complex collective behavior. Let's visualize the complexity profile for different systems. On the horizontal axis, we have the scale of observation, from microscopic to macroscopic. On the vertical axis, we have complexity, or the number of independent behaviors. For a random system, like a gas of molecules or a crowd, the complexity is high at small scales, but drops rapidly at larger scales. For a coherent system, like a solid object or an army marching in step, the complexity is concentrated at the largest scale. For a complex system, like a human being or a modern corporation, the complexity is distributed across many scales. Now, let's examine how human organizations control collective behavior. For thousands of years, hierarchical control structures have dominated human organizations. In an idealized hierarchy, all communication flows through the hierarchy, with each manager controlling the behaviors of those below. But hierarchies have a fundamental limitation. The collective behavior they can coordinate cannot be more complex than what a single individual, the controller, can understand and manage. Let's explore how human organizations have evolved over time. Ancient civilizations were characterized by large hierarchies with simple tasks performed by many individuals. Think of slaves building pyramids or soldiers in ancient armies. During the Industrial Revolution, organizations became more specialized, but still relied on hierarchical control. In modern times, as environmental demands have grown more complex, organizations have shifted toward network structures with distributed control. This transition happens when the complexity of collective behavior needed exceeds what any single individual can understand or control. Today, human civilization can be viewed as a complex superorganism. Events in one part of the world now immediately affect other parts, from economic fluctuations to environmental disasters. The behavior of this global system is more complex than any individual can fully comprehend. Yet this emergent complexity gives humanity a greater ability to respond to large-scale challenges. The global economy, internet, and international organizations all represent this networked, distributed intelligence that characterizes modern human civilization. In conclusion, the complexity profile gives us a mathematical framework for understanding how human organizations and civilization have evolved. Key insights include: first, as environmental demands increase in complexity, organizations must adapt or fail. Second, hierarchical control structures are effective only up to a certain level of complexity. Third, network structures with distributed control enable greater collective complexity. And finally, human civilization has evolved into a complex superorganism with behaviors and capabilities beyond what any individual can fully comprehend. This perspective helps us understand major historical transitions and gives us a framework for thinking about future organizational forms.